So I hear Goji Center have released a video titled "Can You Survive Kong's Fart?" As much as I love Kong, this is one thing I don't want to be near. Let's just see how lethal Kong's fart actually is. If you love Kong, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed, and let's get on with this. Factology. Reverse study of gases.
You clicked on this video for the same reason we decided to study this topic. Curiosity.
Get that?
In this
Exactly.
episode, we'll demonstrate
How
what
did
it
you even
feels
get
like
on your
to
head
stand
to
near the
study
receiving
this?
end of what could possibly be the smelliest, most detestable, and lethal butthole in history. And figure out whether or not you'll survive if standing close when this fella lets out a big one.
Oh, can we survive it? That's how
you will
lethal it
probably
is?
just prefer Kong to give you the same treatment Colonel Packard got. Why
That
Kong,
might be a better
though?
option.
Because Goji Center likes picking on Kong. Now, it's actually because he happens to be a Titan.
I love
we can
Kong.
actually study relatively
Kong
accurately. If you've been following us for some time now, you'll know we try our best to test our science to get you the most accurate metrics possible. And it just so happens that Kong has a similar biology to the most rigorously studied and disgusting creatures across history.
I would assume so.
Homo
That should be
sapiens.
easy.
That's
Homo
right, scientists
sapiens.
have delved deep into farts, so much so that it has its own field of study, flatology, analyzing the abominable gaseous product that shoots out of your ass from every angle possible.
Oh,
Since
man.
Kong has a similar
What on
biology
earth are
to
we
these
watching, guys?
disgusting primates, humans make a good reference from which we can scale up to Kong. Additionally, because
Goji
farts
Center,
are a
how did
byproduct
you
of
get this
digestion,
in
which
your head to
requires eating
study
solid
this?
food, the act of farting
Baked
is actually
beans,
something
mate.
Kong could actually do. So, grab a gas mask, because today we'll discuss 3 ways Kong's fart could hurt you, and see if those methods would go as far
if
as
these
sending
titans
you in
come,
a
we're gonna have to
coffin.
have gas masks
In
around.
this scenario, we have our monarch scientist who happens to be
Oh, no.
unlucky to be standing
That's
near
one
Kong's
sight I thought I would
ass.
never
And
see.
Let's pause here and see what just happened.
Oh,
About how much
God.
gas are we talking here?
Exactly.
Research shows that the average human fart, a big one that is, has a
big
volume
one.
between 0.05 and 0.1 liters of gas. Here's the
Is that a
atomic
lot?
breakdown for you. All in all, we are talking about 16 milligrams of gas.
Milligrams of
now let's
gas.
scale these numbers up using the square cube law and using adjusted numbers between humans and gorillas.
Okay,
Because
I see
of
how they've
matching
worked
body
this
types,
out.
we find that Kong could eject a gaseous omission that weighs in at nearly 5 kilograms of pure gas. That's
Yo,
not a lot of fart
16
juice,
milligrams
Goji.
from a
Unless
human
you're
to
not a
5
phytologist,
kg
that
from
may not
Kong?
sound like a lot, but consider just how much space that amount of gas is going to take up. If gathered up in a container under neutral pressure, a single Kong
In a
fart could fill
container.
8,000 gallons, or
Oh,
1,000 cubic feet in a pure concentration, and take up a lot
Weapon
more
of mass
space once the
destruction,
gases
that's
are
what
shot
Kong
out
is.
of the poop chute. Considering that your typical burst of breaking wind travels at roughly 7 meters per second, within just a few moments, anybody within about 35 meters or 115 feet of the big monkey is about to have a very, very bad time. Bringing us to method number 1, poisoning. Want
It's
to know
actually
something crazy
poison.
about human breathing? Inhaling and exhaling is basically your body cells fighting a constant battle against poisonous carbon
Yeah,
dioxide.
carbon dioxide, you have to
We
release
humans
it.
like to breathe
Get
in about
oxygen in, release
21%
that.
of oxygen when we inhale. That burning sensation
I didn't know
you feel when you
21%,
hold your
though.
breath is basically your body starting to feel poisonous buildup that needs to be ejected and replaced with oxygen. In this scenario, the protector of humanity with the not-so-benevolent sphincter just blew almost all the oxygen available and replaced it with just about the last thing you want to breathe. The problem here is the carbon
What am I
dioxide
watching?
and hydrogen sulfide found in this
I love
fart.
Kong, but this is a
Anyone
bit
within
too much
20
now.
meters of this blast zone is at a huge risk of fatal CO2 poisoning, especially
CO2
given carbon
poisoning.
dioxide is heavier than the air around it, meaning that if you were standing at foot level, all the carbon dioxide would fall on you, pushing away all other gases and drowning you in an invisible cloud you couldn't see the extent of. Heavy amounts of carbon
God,
dioxide
no.
can settle in the lungs, causing
I'm
near instant
never
nerve
going near
damage.
to Kong.
Unconsciousness can happen almost instantly, with respiratory arrest happening within a minute.
So you
In
literally
other
pass
words,
out.
any unfortunate dude underneath this Kong-sized fart would get knocked down before they even realized what happened. Without fresh air or medical assistance, death can
guy's
come within
passed
minutes due to the brain starving from oxygen. This is the lesser of the two evils here.
Oh, that's the
Hydrogen
lesser.
sulfide is even worse. You may have noticed that we haven't covered the smell yet. Despite the fact that this stuff only makes 1% of farts, this gas is what gives it all the rancid stink.
These guys are done.
Its concentration is around 1 part per a million molecules, but it can be increased with certain factors. Scientists that study farts have documented hydrogen sulfide levels that can go off the charts at even 300 parts per million. Kong, with his big, robust body made of very dense tissues, is also going to have tough internal organs,
Cover yourself
meaning that they will be
guy.
insulated and very, very hot.
I know we're like, homies, I love you, but not that much, come on.
Make hydrogen sulfide with the right fuel. And speaking of fuel, diet can factor a lot.
Oh yeah,
herbivores
especially what he
fart,
eats.
that's true. But the title of the most toxic fart will go to carnivores and omnivores, whose diet is much higher in sulfur, prompting the guts to produce even more hydrogen sulfide than normal. And let's take a look at what Kong has been snacking on. How bad could it be? It's not like he's shown a preference for high sulfur foods like seafood and... oh dear. Well, as if we needed more fuel to the fire here, the big ape chowing down on the green good warbat might make things even worse for anyone in the fart blast zone. Body tissues with an exceeding amount of sulfur can often wind up turning the blood green. This can even happen in humans with a condition called sulfohemoglobin. So, snacking on a warbat will turn this into a Kong fart on steroids situation. At 100 parts per million, this gas can cause uncontrollable coughing, eye irritation, dizziness, and lead to passing out. Add some warbat juice into the mix, and we have 500 ppm, where victims drop to the ground in spasm, experience temporary blindness, and suffocation within a minute. 700 ppm or more, instantaneous knockout with brain damage happening soon after. With this one, you'll at least only have to smell this crap once. The only safe place from these fumes would be standing higher up. These two gases are heavy, so Gia, for instance, would be completely safe atop Kong's palm or on his shoulder.
But who cares?
Down here, though, this kind of sucks.
Gia's not always up there.
Oh, by the way, this was one of those silent killer farts.
Does Kong even know this?
Yeah, you may have noticed
he can
that
just
this
start
previous
fighting
fart
and all
didn't
these
even
other
make
titans
a
and
sound.
kaijus.
The next one will. Method number 2,
Would it affect
the
them, though?
rattling.
Because they're that big as well.
The hard rattling your body is going to suffer if standing at close proximity to the big ape's butthole. Now, let's ignore for a moment that the even higher concentration of gases will knock you out in seconds.
700.
Let's focus on the sound. But first, we're going to delve into what makes a fart sound like a fart. More specifically, that iconic ripping sound produced by the anus as gases are being pushed outwards from the sphincter. The mechanics of this are simple.
No, I just did
if you
that.
buzz your lips, you'll more or less make a fart sound. The tighter your ass muscles were at the time of farting, the louder the sound will be. If those muscles are relaxed, then that fart will probably not make a sound. So if the great ape's butthole happened to be not relaxed, then the sound would be much greater than standing next to the loudest fart recorded in history. One let loose by someone named Paul Hunn on May 11th, 1972 in Flint, Michigan. A fart that lasted 2 minutes and 42 seconds and allegedly reaching levels of 118.1
Come on, I understand
decibels,
like 5 seconds, 10
concert
seconds,
or
but
a
like
chainsaw. Now note
No
that we are
way.
dealing with a
That
titan that
loud?
is many, many times
And that
larger than our
long?
human. We
That's not
calculated this
possible.
on the
No
back
way.
end
I
and
don't
did not
believe
bore
that.
you with the math. Keep in mind that it only takes 150 to rupture your eardrums. Depending on how close you are to the Titan's anus, being at point-blank range will mean certain death due to the blast, assuming the fart lasted 4
how loud is it gonna be?
seconds. Not to mention if this fart was loaded with any cargo to come shooting out with it. This fiery fart still has more to give with method number 3, ignition. And now, we are about to answer what we have all been thinking since this tale of cutting some cheese resulted in some lives getting cut short.
Kong's diet's gonna be horrible. This is actually
gonna be worse. Maybe the G-Man was angry that Kong made him breathe his detestable fumes and fired an atomic breath at him. Or maybe some unlucky bastard just happened to be lighting up a cigarette behind the
doing atomic
hydrogen produced by gut bacteria
and he
is one
farts
of
and
the
turns
most
round.
flammable gases in existence.
Godzilla's gonna be dying himself.
A lot of it. Remember, this gas makes up to 21% 10% of a fart's mass, meaning that this is over a kilogram of hydrogen. And because it's a very light gas, it can spread over a huge area. If this gas is fired out at 7 meters
you can't
per
even
second,
run that
the
because
spread
look at the scale of
hydrogen
size
mixed
of
with the
Kong.
oxygen in the air would
Like,
ignite
how many
almost
meters do you have to run away
instantaneously.
before
Assuming
the
only
fumes are going to get
80%
you?
of the
What, you can
hydrogen
run, what,
lights
10
up,
meters?
the resulting
And you're
blast
done.
wave would create nearly 110,000 kilojoules of energy in a worst-case scenario. Hydrogen is so explosive that a single gram of pure hydrogen has the same energy potential as 28 times that mass in pure TNT. Fatal damage from explosive shockwaves would hit people 10
you just need
meters
to
away.
light it.
People 30 meters away would suffer from permanent eardrum damage and deafness
exactly,
on
you
top
can't
of
even
massive
run
concussion,
this.
which could also be lethal. That's right. For a more realistic
So literally
scenario,
he'll just
if
kill you
Kong
with
ever
his
made
fart.
a mistake to let one rip while
doesn't even
standing
have
in an
to do
Iwi
anything, just
village
fart.
and there was a torch nearby, he risks wiping out a good chunk of the population and making the rest of them deaf.
Weapon of mass
No
destruction.
torch? Well, just a big rumble and mass intoxication, people puking all over the place, etc. Kong's fart is a true weapon of mass destruction and would,
Exactly.
funnily enough, actually be a viable weapon in combat.
Exactly, that's what I was saying. He can use it against other titans. Alright guys, this is some information we really did not need to know. We may have just killed some brain cells over this. But anyway, Goji Center, amazing content, amazing information. I would have never even imagined. How did you guys even come up with this idea? That is it for today, and I hope to see you soon.